All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Sunday Stock Watch, series I post on Sundays where I let you guys know what stocks I'm personally keeping an eye on going into the trading week. As you guys know, the crypto markets have had a rough weekend. Investor sentiment is evidently bearish at the moment, and considering the crypto markets can act as a decent precursor as to how the equity markets, primarily the tech sectors of the equity markets like the Nasdaq and the S&P, will perform, I do believe we could see some rough waters for equities as well as we head into the trading week. So, as you guys know, I have been pretty bearish for the past week and a half or so now, and that sentiment, at least from a short-term perspective, remains unchanged. There are both technical and fundamental indicators that lead me to believe that there is more downside ahead, and that will make more sense as we dive into the charts, of course. Okay, so let's get into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, TradingView, where we'll be talking price action, price targets, and technical analysis on the following names today in this order, going down the watches, kicking it off with the big old $B sign, Bitcoin. So again, you guys, Bitcoin really not looking too hot over the course of the weekend after we saw this big sell-off back here. Pretty much what I was expecting played out. When you see a big sell-off like this, you usually see this little dead cat bounce, little sideways price action, gain back a little bit of steam, but ultimately it's usually followed up by another big sell-off, and we're getting pretty close to my initial price target. So I do want to talk to you guys about the first price target I've set. I do want to talk to you guys as well about which directions, what I think could happen after this price target, what I think the likely scenarios are there, both to the upside and the downside. And then, yeah, of course, we got to touch on Bitcoin because as I just mentioned, it not only acts as a decent precursor to specifically, I think, like the Nasdaq, very tech-weighted indices like the Nasdaq. You could say the S&P, not so much the Dow, but definitely the Nasdaq, S&P. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq after this. I'll give you guys just some of my general thoughts on the equity markets, more so the high risk. Primarily tech, again, just risk on what you consider like all the names that have been doing very, very well over the course of the past few months. I want to give you guys my thoughts on those because I do think that, especially those names, once again, the names that have just been ripping, the higher you climb, the harder you can fall, okay? So I do want to give you guys my thoughts on the general equity markets, primarily the tech sector. After that, we will move into the Bitcoin miners, the king and queen, Riot Blockchain, Marathon Patent Group. So forgot to mention this. So focused on technicals, we got to cover some articles. So this just came out today. I want to touch on this with you guys. So Bloomberg, Musk implies Tesla may sell or has sold Bitcoin holdings. So this is important, you guys. Again, Musk has been the most loved and most hated man in the cryptocurrency markets over the past few weeks. And this dude, if you think Bitcoin itself is volatile, Elon Musk is volatile. So we will dive into this article, read over just a few key points here, just have a brief understanding of what's going on, go over a few tweets, take a look at what Musk's current stance is on Bitcoin and stuff. Because again, there is a lot of FUD out there, like just kind of negative hype, primarily from Elon right now. And he's not really helping his case in the crypto realm, but I do still believe Musk is obviously a crypto bull, although he is saying his actions may not reflect that at the moment. It's definitely, regardless of his long-term stance, which I do think is bullish, it's definitely stirring up the market and leading to some bearish price action within the cryptocurrency market. So we'll go over this just from a fundamental perspective. After that, before we do hop into the Bitcoin miner, so after Bitcoin and Nasdaq on the charts, we will hop into this. So quickly go over Riot's earnings date. So Riot earnings date, earnings announcement for Riot, May 17th, 2021. So we'll quickly read over this. Just get a very general idea. We're not going into any financials, like anything deep here, but just putting this on your guys' radar. Riot is a very close friend to the channel, as all of you know, to the Waves fam. So got to touch on this. This earnings date is supposed to happen tomorrow morning pre-market. This is not confirmed. This is just based off historical data. So keep that in mind, you guys, with these smaller cap companies. Sometimes you see like on Robinhood or something, earnings announcement, this date, pre-market or after hours, and there's no earnings. And that happens sometimes with smaller companies. They don't always announce exactly when they're doing it, but again, just based off historical data, this is when things like ZAC and Nasdaq are estimating their earnings. So very likely that we do see Riot announce earnings tomorrow morning pre-market, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that does affect the stock price. But we will go over Riot and Mara, move on to the space plays, the OTC plays, Currency Works or CWRK and ALYI. Again, as you guys know, Riot and Mara as well bouncing very well. CWRK bouncing pretty nicely, double-digit gains. You'd love to see that. ALYI keeping pretty stagnant, but ALYI actually from a risk-reward perspective right now looks pretty darn appealing to me on the charts. And then we'll close it out with something very different, not at all one of these revolutionary crypto-related stocks or companies, but silver. Because silver is looking very good to me right now. Commodities, you guys, are looking very good, especially if we do see capital start to flow out of the tech sector of the market. There's so much capital in tech right now, in high risk right now. So if we do see that outflow of capital from some of the more high risk, again, sectors of the market like cryptocurrency and stuff, I do think silver as the legacy inflation hedge play, commodities, copper, oil, like I'm not covering all the other commodities today. I'm not even covering like hedges today that I'm actually very bullish on going into this week as well. But that is for the newsletter. And again, you guys, I will keep you guys posted with all the trades over the course of the week. Just my thoughts there on the YouTube channel, but of course, in the newsletter. So on that note, before we do dive into the charts, I will ask you guys, as always, to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. And check out the Complete Portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description. That's $15 a month if you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio. So literally every single position in my entire portfolio. I do update that every single trading day during market hours. And along with every update, I send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. Even if I'm not trading a specific stock, but I do want to share price targets with you guys, I'll throw some charts in there, explain to you guys what I'm thinking about a play, especially like Riot, Mara, like Currency Works, these very close friends to the Waves fam, to the YouTube channel. I want to share my thoughts with you guys there. And again, like the hedges, all the hedges that I'm very bullish on. Actually, like hedges and commodities are consuming a significant chunk of my portfolio right now. So again, that's a little more boring to make videos about, but I do think it's important, and I do definitely dive more into those in the portfolio newsletter. So if you guys are interested in that, once again, $15 a month, first link down below. Really means a lot if you check it out. If not, no worries. Another thing, Waves Discord. So exclusive Discord, literally right after I finish recording this. Gonna hop in there for a quick live Q&A with the Discord fam. We just do fun stuff. I hop in there every single day. Great place for the community to connect. The admins are amazing. Shout out to all you guys, all my mods and stuff. But this link is down below as well. Just want to shout this out. So all that said, let's dive into the charts. Talk some Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, like you can't look at this and really be bullish short term. Like just everything about this is pretty bearish. Down like 2% on the day. So Bitcoin, again, has been in a downtrend technically since mid-April. So for the past month now, Bitcoin has been in a downtrend. High, low, lower high. Looks like we're going to set a lower low. We did break a very strong line of support, which is this sign line right here. Let's get rid of the B if this would load. So very strong line of support over the overall, like the entirety of this bull rally, of this entire bull market beginning back in December of 2020. Again, very strong line of support has been broken. From a technical perspective, you guys, that's very bearish. So we did see a dump. Again, you saw broke the line of support, sold off real quick, came back up, tested that previous support as new resistance, bounced back down exactly as expected. Again, when you see a sell-off like this applies to so many things. Like it's surprising you actually didn't see it back here, but a lot of times when you see a stark sell-off like this, like a crazy like 10, 15, 20% move, which is what Bitcoin did, you see it bounce back, the little dead cat bounce, but it's almost always followed by another pretty stark move to the downside. So that's what we're seeing right now. First price target is coming pretty in range. This random arrow, this arrow of absolute randomness is doing a pretty good job at gauging the timeline of this correction. But again, my initial price target, you guys, is to test the initial high of the current rally. You couldn't even, this isn't even like the initial high. This is just the previous high prior to reaching these like insane highs and kind of just topping out this like mountaintop, just this mountain range that we've been in since like mid to late February. Like we were at the same price on February 20th that we were on like May 11th. So for months we were just kind of going sideways for the most part. And again, now that we've corrected, I do think that the first target, now that we've broken overall support, is going to be this initial high right here around $41,000. But in all honesty, if I'm being completely honest, I do think that worst case scenario is going to be this actual initial high after this parabolic high back in mid-December when we broke Bitcoin's previous high in 2017, came up to $24,000, huge deal. And that would be like $25,000. I'm not going to say 24K, but conservatively, I think $25,000 is the worst case scenario. In my opinion, I don't think we come that low though. That's worst case scenario. I do think that we could come around here though. So I do think this area around $35,000, just to kind of set, if you consider this a high right here, you could say like and this a high, this could almost set a higher low on the very long term, almost logarithmic uptrend, and that would take us to about $35,000. So I am personally a buyer of Bitcoin at 35K, and my net worth is going into Bitcoin at 25K. So we'll call that there. Let's quickly take a look at this, cover some fundamentals quick before we're diving into Nasdaq. So again, Musk implies Tesla may sell or has sold Bitcoin holdings. Elon Musk implied in a Twitter exchange on Sunday that Tesla may sell or has sold his Bitcoin holdings. It all started with a tweet from a person using the handle at Crypto Whale, which said Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out Tesla dumped the rest of their Bitcoin holdings with the amount of hate Elon Musk is getting. I wouldn't blame him. Moving down, the Tesla CEO responded. Indeed. Bitcoin miners, again, these are the tweets right here if you guys want to take a look at these. Mr. Whale, I do like that crypto handle. But again, Elon Musk, just very, very vague response. This is almost not worth, like, this isn't worth much hype, but anything, Elon Musk could say anything, and it's worthy of hype, especially if it's in the crypto realm, okay? So Musk has been hitting back at several different users on Twitter who are criticizing his stance on cryptocurrency. This is a tweet from him posted on the 16th. Hey, cryptocurrency experts, ever heard of PayPal? It's possible, maybe, that I know more than you realize about how money works. So the structure, maybe it's his South African accent. The structure of this tweet is a little hard for even me to understand. I might just be dumb. Probably that's the case. But you guys get the point here. Like, Elon Musk created PayPal, you guys. Like, he created SpaceX, Boring Company. Obviously Tesla, Neuralink. Like, this guy is an absolute genius. And there are a lot of kids who got into crypto just a couple months ago. Made a quick bag. They think they're hot, and even when you get into like kind of like the more anarchistic side of the crypto, which is a lot of OG crypto, like 2014 to 2017 guys involved in crypto. You get some of the weirdos in there. So I mean, nothing weirdo to me. I'm a weirdo to a lot of people, but again, it's all relative. It's all objective. But again, I think there's a lot of people who are criticizing him. There are a lot of people who will stand by Elon Musk as to some pretty far extents, in my opinion. I'm not one of those guys. I lean in the middle. I love Elon Musk. I'm a huge supporter of everything he does from an entrepreneurial perspective. But again, he's definitely stirring up the pot in terms of the crypto market. So last one, Tesla and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we're concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which is the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transactions to more sustainable energy. Transitions to more sustainable energy. We're looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy transaction. He's probably talking about Doge. So a little nod to Doge there. He didn't drop the ball, didn't drop the name, but he's definitely talking about Doge. It's very obvious because he's already let down his Bitcoin army. He cannot let down his Doge dogs. Okay, so move on to Nasdaq. Nasdaq bouncing immensely. So this dead cat bounce bouncing a little a little more extreme of a bounce than I expected. Not surprising though, because Nasdaq did break a very, this is a very, in my opinion, very predictable chart if this does play out. If we don't break back above this, if we do break above this, we're probably just going to keep rallying again. But I don't think that's likely just because the NASDAQ specifically is so ridiculously overextended that I don't think that's going to happen. So NASDAQ on the 11th broke a very, very significant downtrend. I believe this was Monday, Tuesday of last week. Broke a very significant line of support, similar to Bitcoin right here. Broke this line of support. After it broke below that, we gapped straight down, saw stark sell-off for a couple days, bounce back. You fall hard, you bounce hard. Again, dropping a bouncy ball, the higher you drop it, the harder it's going to bounce. That's what happened here. NASDAQ sold off in a very, a significant way, bounced back highly, but used this previous level of support, this very, very strong support as new resistance. I do believe, from a technical perspective, everything is leading me to believe, especially, again, everything feels toppy. Overall sentiment is getting more bearish. Commodities are on fire. That's bad news for tech, which is the NASDAQ is highly, highly tech weighted. So from a technical perspective, NASDAQ would surprise me if we didn't see a pullback. So even if I know futures, so stock futures on I was just looking at CNBC, Bloomberg doing research for this video, and stock futures are up a little bit. I think like 15 points or something, but that is not Like, that's insignificant. And a lot of times, especially on Sundays, stock futures don't really mean all that much to me personally. It might have an effect on like pre-market trading and like market open, but I don't even trade market open, so that doesn't mean anything to me. I do think over the course of Monday, Tuesday, we will see a sell-off in the Nasdaq, even if we do bounce a little bit right as the market opens. And I do remain bearish from both a fundamental and technical perspective. My price targets for the Nasdaq initially are $143, or I think from current levels, this is going to be like initial target right here. I think this could happen this week, is going to be about a 12 to 13% correction. So we'll cross these next price targets over the course of, I mean, I got to hop on this Discord call in like 9 minutes, you guys, so I got to hurry this up. But my price target over the coming week is going to be about a 10 to 15% correction, give or take. But I do think that this area over here that acts as a very significant ceiling is going to be tested again. Let's move on to Riot blockchain. So Riot is just not looking good, you guys. Again, we'll read through this quickly and then we'll just blast through all the rest of these guys. Riot Inc. is estimated to report earnings on 5/17 or May 17, 2021. The upcoming earnings date is derived from an algorithm based on the company's historical reporting dates. Our vendor Zacks Investment Research might revise this data in the future once the company announces that actual earnings dates. According to Zacks Investment Research, based on an analyst forecast, the consensus EPS for the quarter is 2 cents. The reported EPS for the same quarter last year was negative 12 cents. So I'm sure you guys have read up on this if you're familiar with Riot. They are expecting better, definitely year-over-year gains. But the important thing to remember with this Riot earnings is that Riot, when we started talking about Riot a year ago, it was at $1.50. So even though we've seen such a crazy correction from its high of $80 back in February, we're still up at least 10x from where we were just about a year ago. So that's very, very important to understand. Even if Riot's earnings 2x'd year over year, the stock price has 10x'd, okay, even after this correction. So if tech sells off, if Bitcoin continues to sell off, even if Riot's earnings do impress, even if they are profitable, it's not looking good, you guys. And you guys know I love Riot. I love Riot blockchain. This stock has done so much for myself, my net worth, my channel, but I unfortunately have to be bearish right now. I'm bearish on Nasdaq, I'm bearish on tech, I'm bearish on equities, so I have to be bearish on Riot. At least in the short term, you guys. My absolute price target for Riot is going to be about $15. If Riot does see $15, which I think is very possible, then I'm loading back up on Riot. Realistically, if we come down here, if Bitcoin starts to correct, it's more likely than not that we will go sideways for a while. We're not just going to come down and go blasting straight back off to space. We're probably going to go sideways for a little while. So be careful with calls if we do see this price target. But as far as shares go, I'm very, very, very comfortable buying, even at this level for the long term, but definitely $15, very, very comfortable as far as asymmetric risk profile goes. Upside risk outweighs downside. Upside potential outweighs the downside risk. There we go. So Mara, very similar story here. Again, Mara looks even worse on the charts, to be honest. So Mara, it's very, very almost guaranteed to me. Maybe Mara sees a bounce to test this line of support on the downside. Yeah, like maybe Mara comes up a little bit. Best case scenario is Mara comes up and tests this line of resistance on the downtrend, this purple line right here. But just looking at this, I don't think you guys would disagree with this. Mara looks like it wants to come down to test the initial high right here. Acts as a pretty significant ceiling. I do think this trend line will come into play once again. That would take us same thing there, down to $15. Maybe because Riot always is a little higher than Mara, maybe Riot comes down to like 15, 16. Mara comes down to like 13, 14. But those are my general price targets for Riot. Mara, huge buyer of Riot. Because I do actually like Riot more as a company. I think their operations are more well scaled. Mara does have a bigger bag of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But if Bitcoin does continue to correct, that's actually bad news for Mara as well. So currency works. Move on to CWRK. CWRK is still just in this massive just downtrend. And at some point, CWRK will definitely like pop back off. So CWRK is very, very close to testing this initial high right here. You can almost even say it got tested just barely got tested. Like these highs right here, it's so close that I'd almost consider this a test. CWRK is a very cool company from a fundamental perspective, but it's also important to understand, like, look where CWRK was in like mid-December, okay? So CWRK was at 16 cents at one point. So even after this crazy correction, we're still like, we still 5x'd from where it was at just like half a year ago, okay? So currency works. I can't look at this and be short-term bullish unless I see a reversal. If we do break, if currency works, this goes for all of these, you guys, because they're all in downtrends. If currency works can break this downtrend from a technical perspective, if we can break, like over the coming week or so, if we can break $1.50, that would flip me bullish, and that would lead me to believe that there is more upside ahead. But for now, we're going to have to see what happens. Maybe more downside. Maybe it will come down to absolute test this at about 95 cents. That's been my price target for a long time. If we see a 95-cent CWRK, that would interest me. And again, as far as a long-term hold perspective, that does interest me a lot. But to flip bullish, and of course you guys will know when that is because I will definitely make a video. I would need to see a $1.50 plus CWRK. Okay, so let's do ALYI and close it out with silver, the shiny stuff. So alternate systems is interesting in the sense that we did technically break a very, very strong line of resistance here on the overall downtrend. Again, very strong downtrend here, even taking into account the ultimate high back in February. Line of resistance, like this is a strong line of resistance. It's been in such a textbook descending channel. Broke above it, psyched you out. Broke above it again. No closures, but we did close the week. That's huge, actually. We closed the weekly. This is a 4-hour, but we closed the week because we closed Friday. We closed the daily. We closed the weekly above this trend line. So if there's a time for a reversal, you're seeing a little bit of volume come back here, which I do like to see. Nothing compared to back here, so we do need more volume. But again, I do need to see a little more here. ALYI, you guys know the Mars mission. I have so much conviction around ALYI, especially as we move into the summer, to see if they execute on their deliveries and whatnot. So ALYI, again, at these levels right now, if you have a long-term time horizon, is a very, very promising trade, but the short term just is still sketchy. This is the light at the end of the tunnel, though, from a technical perspective, is that we did technically close a weekly above this overall line of resistance. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with ALYI moving forward. Closing it out with God's money, silver. I mean, silver, not much to say here, you guys. Silver is in a beautiful uptrend. Back to the fundamental, like, kind of argument for silver. Silver more than gold, just because it will see more upside. It will see more exciting percentage gain than gold. It's just a more volatile version of gold. So that's why I like silver. Silver is historically undervalued as well relative to gold. And a silver, from a technical perspective, is in a beautiful, beautiful ascending channel right now. So textbook, no one can look at this and not believe, from a technical perspective at least, that we are going to come up to the top side of this ascending channel. If this happens by like Thursday, May 20th, this would take us to just about a $29 silver. So let's do Friday. Friday, if we close out the week testing the top side of this, that would take us to 29 bucks. If we can break out of this ascending channel, next price target is going to be about like 30 bucks. And if we can break silver's high, if we can break $31 in silver, and again, if capital flows out of tech and stuff, I do think silver can be an amazing candidate for some of that capital outflow from the overextended things in the market, like tech, crypto, whatever. And again, people still want to keep their money safe. People still want to invest their money. And I do think silver, commodities, oil, copper, that, again, I will talk about in the newsletter. Probably going to talk about in the Discord a little bit right now. So I got to run, you guys. I will catch you guys next time. As always, let me know in the comments down below what you think about the markets this week. If you're bullish on Riot's earnings, if you're bullish on Bitcoin right now, what your price targets are for all the names we covered today. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys downstairs. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.